It'd be really easy to consider Grant Cardone with just how loud and how flashy he is as just another internet scammer. And to be frank, I think that that was my first impression of him as well. But either he or his media team has done an incredible job at actually showing the legitimacy of his business. He helps non-accredited investors get into real estate, which I think is really neat. Seems like they got a good mission over there. The dude's obviously making a ton of money. But let's just talk about like some lessons that I've gathered from him. It's actually like somebody that I didn't think I'd be looking to for real business lessons. And I think it's really easy to, at first glance, really judge these like big guru types that run a ton of advertising and are super flashy and stuff. But the truth is that they're just giving people what they want so they can give them what they need. And in my own business, I've got two businesses. I've got one where I help people become marketing consultants. So they learn basic marketing skills and they sign clients and they consult them on their businesses and everything like that. Because the majority of business owners have no idea how to market themselves. And then in my own marketing consultancy, I actually help online educators, coaches, consultants, people who are experts in their field sign more clients, and I help them get to 7 figures a year. And I've been running those two businesses for a second now. And I think that what I've learned as I've watched Grant, and I'm just going to get right to the point of this video. There's just 3 lessons from Grant Cardone, and I'll start from the top because I'm not going to waste your time. The first lesson: this is a man who is a genius at work-life integration. I look at the way that he includes his daughter. I look at the way that he includes his wife. I look at the decisions that he's made throughout his life. He picked a wife with career in mind. He built his life with a certain vision of what it was going to be in mind. He didn't do anything blindly. It seems like everything's actually quite methodical, because how do you arrive at that sort of a place where, you've built such a big enterprise? You don't do it blindly. You don't stumble into that, right? So you look at the story of him meeting his wife and who him and his wife are. Me personally, I don't want to work with my wife. I'm kind of like a solo operator, and I don't want to involve my family in my work. That's just been a personal decision that I've made, and I maximize that as best as I can. But he decided that he wants to include his wife and his children and certain people in his life. And even his brother has been on his podcast recently. And this is a man who knows how to pull everything along with him. Because really, you've got two choices. You can either build something, and I've experienced this in my business where, I've crossed my first $5 million online recently, selling information products, coaching, consulting, and everything. And you can scroll back on this YouTube channel to my very first marketing consulting client. It's a video of me at 18 years old, and I signed a $3,000 marketing consulting client. You can scroll way back. Maybe I'll link it in the description or something like that. And one of the big mistakes that I've made is siloing my life. So I've got my business life, and I've got my friendships, and I've got my fitness, and I've got my faith, and I've got my family, and being married with a kid coming soon. Over the past 3 years, it takes a long time to build a life. You're not just building a business, you're building a life. And this is a man, I think, that has done that. And I actually really, really respect that, because I think a lot of people, they move into life and life sort of makes plans for them. Whereas there's other people who have a plan and they attack life with it. And the sooner in life you can discover what that plan is. I'm still 23. I turned 24 actually this week. And I'm lucky enough to, I think, be stumbling into mentors and people like this. I haven't paid Grant anything. I haven't bought any products from him. I'm not affiliated with him or anything, just FYI. But I've just been like in like a learning season. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, let me see what other people are up to and zoom back into the market again, because I've been so focused on my own businesses, I don't even pay attention to what other people do. And so why not listen to like one of the biggest people in the information space, which is Grant Cardone. So this is a man who's built a life, not just a business, and I really admire and respect that. He can buy people into the vision and get people involved in it, and that is a massive, massive skill. And so this is kind of reading between the lines. He doesn't really say anything about this. He didn't really say like, oh, I picked a wife with my career in mind. I think he does say something like that, but for me, he's a master of work-life integration, and I just think that is freaking. I think that is so cool, because to me, as human beings, we are constantly facing the force of life's will versus our will. We've got our will and we've got the world's will for us. Now, the only way to win against the powers of the earth's will against us is to be ahead of the curve of its will catching up. And what I mean by that is having a plan and acting on that plan and having a clear vision for your life. Or Earl Nightingale has a quote. He says, "If you can tell me exactly what you want to a T, then I can almost guarantee you that you'll get it. But it's that most people don't even know what they want, which is actually quite interesting about the human condition. We're very indecisive about what we want. But it's when you can just decide and make an incision. A decision, with it comes an incision in another direction. So when you decide you want something, you cut off the other things that you can't have if you also have this thing. It's like for me, I decided to be married. In being married, I can't really live like a bachelor life. Like I'm doing great, making a bunch of money and everything. And like I think a lot of men in their early 20s would want to use that for like their dating life. I don't. Like I decided I want to have a family and a kid. I've got a kid on the way. His name's going to be James. And like that's what I decided. So when I made that decision, I made an incision. So I decided one thing, I cut off another. And I think Grant is the sort of an individual who has made very clear decisions about exactly what he wants and cut off other things along the way. He's very clear about what he wants, and I respect that. So that's the first lesson. Now, the second lesson that I've learned from Grant, and this is something that I see actually in Dave Ramsey's organization. This is something that I see in, this is also something that I see in basically any successful information-based company, and that's that he sees just about every role in his company as a sales role. There's not a single individual in his company that doesn't somehow contribute to the bottom line of the company. Everybody's in sales. Now, that doesn't mean everybody's speaking to prospects. That just means that everybody takes ownership for how much revenue that the company generates. Grant Cardone refers to his organization as a sales organization, and that's what it is. Everybody is in a sales position of some kind. If you're a client success director or if you're dealing with the people who've already paid, you are in sales. You're getting them to take the actions necessary and do the things that are necessary to get the most results with the products that they've bought so that they maybe come back and buy more products. That is a sales position. If you are obviously taking phone calls and selling stuff, that's obviously a sales position, but maybe less obvious would be like a customer support representative, somebody, who is answering the emails for unhappy people. Like they're in sales too. They're in the job of flipping people from unhappy back to happy and getting them to buy more stuff in the future. Everybody's in sales. Every single person is in sales, and that is just such a key lesson that I pull away from this individual and many individuals like him, but specifically him because I think that he refers to his whole organization as, again, a sales organization. Now, the third lesson that I've taken away is this idea of creatively mixing paid media and organic media to market a service or a product. Very, very common for a company to lean one way or another. Oh, I'm just organic, or oh, I'm just paid. Some people they shout the praises of paid. Some people, they shout the praises of organic. But if you look at Grant Cardone's organization, they spend a ton of money on paid, and they have a whole in-house media team for organic content. They do both. They're super loud on all platforms at all times. And this is actually a fascinating lesson because, truthfully, it's very easy for business owners to get stuck in this binary one or the other, or one strategy or the other thinking. Whereas in reality, I think that the best of the best understand that the strategy isn't the platform you're on, it's what you say. That's the strategy. So what you say is the strategy, not platform dependent. So whether you're on LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or whatever, the real meat behind a good marketing system is what is being said, the message that's being sent. And if you can consistently send that message across all platforms, then you can succeed. Now, I spend about $2,000 a day on ads, and we turn about $1 into $4 right now with those ads. And, we want to mix that with paid media, like what I'm doing, organic media, like what I'm doing right here. Talking to the camera, sharing ideas, teaching people stuff, and just speaking from the heart about lessons that I'm learning and everything. And it's really interesting to see how most, it's so interesting. When you do organic media, people see your paid media and are more likely to click it. And when you do paid media, a lot of people, they click the stuff and check it out, but a lot of people, they still Google you and they still find your organic stuff. So you have to do both. And in our sort of time, if you're not doing both, then you're kind of like weird. It's like, why are you just doing one? Why you don't feel real. Now, I have fallen into the trap of only doing organic because it's like, oh, paid media, you just get people who don't know you, it's weird leads, etc. Whereas with, or I've fallen into the other trap as well. I've been like, oh, paid media is how you scale. You can spend more to get more. It's very inputs equal outputs. The truth is, if you're not doing both, then you are losing massively. So this is why I teach hybrid marketing strategies to my clients. Is what I've been teaching for a while now, running ads actually to your social platforms. And if you want to learn what that looks like, you can check the link in the description. I've got a free training video. Actually shows you how I used hybrid marketing to get to my first $200,000 a month as a consultant on the internet. So these are 3 lessons from Grant Cardone. Short, sweet, simple, pointed. I hope this has been valuable for you. Hope this has been an interesting video. I can make more about other influences if you like. If you're an influencer you want to recommend, link in the description, or sorry, comment down below. Let me know who you want me to talk about. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.